will tell you the rest of his history and how he switched from menswear to Playboy Enterprises and what it's comprised of, because there are too many students that will graduate and be unable to find jobs either in retailing, fashion marketing, or fashion design. You have to be ready and enterprising to enter related fields. And that is one of the reasons I find it very valuable to have the generous presence of Aaron Duncan here today, because he's an FIT grad in menswear. And he won many, many awards. He was outstanding in menswear. He was the recipient of the Chairman's Award for his menswear design, also the Educational Foundation's Best of Show Award. His influence has been in fashion, lifestyle, retailing. His work is global. Remember that, global, from Hong Kong to 180 boutique stores throughout Asia. And then that's all I'm going to say, because I want to impress upon you the importance of meeting Aaron Duncan. But first, I have 2 or 3 class things. Opera tours. Please sign up in room A639 for the October 29th backstage opera tours. That's another area you should look into. You might want to go into designing costumes, whether it's opera or theater. And that's Sunday, 10:30. I need students to sign up for October 29th. That's the next opera tour. Because if we don't sign up, the school will not allow us to invest in the opera tours. They pay for it. I want you to go to the Morgan Library. It's been redone. How many of you have visited the Morgan Library for your field trips? Raise your hand. No one? The most exciting thing in New York City? You know, that was the J.P. Morgan mansion, the multi-millionaire who donated that and gave that to us to use for our educational reasons. It has interesting programs. You must put Morgan Library as one of your field trips. It's on your list, but go. And I want you to buy, if you can get a hold of Terry Agins, who is the Wall Street Journal's fashion guru, an outstanding woman who influences a lot of the thinking in fashion. Her book is End of Fashion. It's in the bookstore here. Just go and try to buy it. I'm sure you'll get a student discount, but it's important. I want you to read it, because if she's free, she's going to come and be a guest speaker. And please hand in your field trips properly. I'm tired of getting field trips with the brochures attached with the not Scotch tape falling off. And if I get any more, I'm not going to waste our time calling you to come and redo it. You're just going to get a half a point lower, because the instructions on your course outline tells you to Scotch tape it, and that if you don't know the way it's to be presented, we have a bulletin board right outside room A639 with samples. So there's no excuse for you not to hand it in properly. We have 265 or 8 students times 5 are too many field trips that get filed and get torn or fall apart. So properly mount them. Thank you. That's the end of my speech, okay? Now I'm anxious to give the podium to Aaron, okay? And he'll tell you his story. And I just learned, I have to tell you, he's from Scotland. He was born in Glasgow, Scotland, which I adore. Okay, please, Aaron, take me off the stage.
Hi, thank you very much, Alice. Okay, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. It's really exciting to actually be back here again. Probably the last time Actually stood on the stage was probably about 10 years ago for graduation. So there is a great future for all of you guys out there. If you guys are dreamers and are inspired, all of you guys have an amazing future ahead of you. And I'm just going to take you through how my future evolved and kind of try and tell you that story and how I ended up at Playboy and so forth. So we're going to actually start, kind of break the ice with a little trivia game to kind of test your knowledge on Playboy. And then we're going to talk about licensing, what is licensing, and then kind of just give you an overview of the Playboy brand, not to sell you on Playboy, but more just to tell you kind of the things that I do at Playboy and show you how you can use your skills that you've learned at FIT and through your career path and put it to good use. And then I will hear your, get your questions and answers towards the end, and then we'll select the winners at the end as well of the trivia contest. Sorry, louder. Just take the mic into my hand, okay. All right, so before I begin the trivia contest, there's actually 6 questions, and I think you all have a little sheet of paper. It says 1 through 6 on it. And basically, what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you the questions. There'll be a multiple choice, I think it's A, B, C, and D. And then once the 6 questions are done, you forward all the piece of paper back to the front, and then at the end, we'll go through and pick out, go through each question. Whoever gets the first question right, when we pull out from the bag, we'll get the gift. And what we have today is a Playboy Bath and Body gift set from Europe. We have Playboy's monogram bag. I don't have many. Okay. Another women's bag. We have a little Playmate t-shirt along with a little Playmate hat. A little pencil case with a little diary inside of it. And we have, sorry guys, just one men's t-shirt. So, but anyway, okay, so does everybody have that small piece of paper? It says 1 through 6 on it. If you don't, can you just let us know now? Oh, up there, okay. Okay, this is a really easy one. Okay, what best describes the Playboy brand attributes? A, fun, B, sexy, C, aspirational, D, all of the above. And by the way, this is Rebecca Fitz, who's actually handing out the piece of the paper here, and she's actually our PR manager, so in case you guys have any kind of futures in PR fashion, she's certainly one to talk to later. Question number 2. What category to date has Playboy not licensed? A, clothing, B, bags, C, stamps, D, paints. Question 3, what is the percentage of Playboy's women's product biz to men's? So meaning how much business does Playboy do in women's product, bags, shoes, what have you? A, 30%, B, 25%, C, 75%, or D, 50%? Question number 4, for those who watch E, what are the names of the girls in the Girls Next Door TV show on E? A, Holly, Kendra, and Michelle. B, Kendra, Madison, and Sally. C, Heather, Cindy, and Colleen. And D, Kendra, Bridget, and Holly. And which one's the oldest? No. Who watches that TV show in here? Wow, okay. Where did Playboy open its most recent retail store? Question 5. A, Melbourne, B, Tokyo, C, Moscow, D, Las Vegas. And question 6, final question, where did Playboy open its first Playboy Club casino in over 25 years? Meaning, where we just opened it recently? A, Macau, B, Las Vegas, C, London, D, Atlantic City. And actually, the answer was in the New York Times this Sunday. Okay. Everyone just pass back their piece of the paper, and then we'll pull out the winners at the end. Rebecca, you want to, or put it in the bag, or whatever, how do you want it? Make sure you put your names on it. That would help. So just a question, is everyone seniors in here? Are you guys all seniors? Okay. Is everyone? Okay, so we're ready? Got everything? Oh, more coming. Just pass them to Rebecca, she'll handle it. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so just to give you guys a quick definition of in licensing terms. One is licensor. Playboy is a licensor. We grant somebody the right to use our logos and our archives to put it on product. And the licensee is a person who is granted the right from Playboy. They're an official partner of Playboy's, and they have the right to actually produce under certain categories using Playboy's archives and using Playboy's trademarks, the rabbit head and the word Playboy. So I'm just going to show you a quick video of the past few years at Playboy, kind of give you, bring you up to date on what Playboy's been up to. And if we can just dim the lights as well, please.
Time goes by so slowly, 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 time goes by so slowly.
I bet a lot of you guys didn't realize that Playboy does a lot of these kind of things, and we have our own stores. And a lot of reasons the brand has been built the way it has been built is because what happened back in many years ago when I first joined Playboy, they actually decided they wanted to set up an in-house design team. And I think that says a lot for the company, realizing the need to have creative talent in-house to help build a fashion brand. And what was happened is obviously they hired me to set this up. But what I realized when I first started working at Playboy, I'll tell a little bit more about my career path later, is that Playboy had one of the largest art archives in the country to tap into. So if you're a really creative person and you can go through 50 years of archives, it's really exciting to look at all the different photographic imagery and graphic imagery that was being in the magazine, and also the heritage of the brand. And one way that Playboy has been able to expand the brand and go into different categories other than paints is we've actually created an in-house style guides that focus on different categories, like apparel. We create our own exclusive graphics and patterns and signature patterns, and all those can be found in our style guides, which you can see here. And we come up with seasonal themes, just like any other fashion brand would come up with. This is for spring, summer '07, Young and Loaded and Luscious Babes. These are spring themes. And it ties back to the Playboy brand essence, that fun, sexy, sort of good life sort of lifestyle that Playboy and Hugh Hefner created. So you can see that it can be very creative, and that you can use a lot of different talents. So for example, it's not just actually sketching out product, but it's actually using illustration skills as well, and knowing how to put garments together and so forth, and being able to work with our different partners around the world to create the product. And here's some of the graphics that I mentioned. These are exclusive to Playboy, the rabbit heads in them, and we tap into different archival art and repurpose it for graphics. So that was pretty cool to me, because I didn't realize that Playboy had all these kind of assets to tap into. So it was really an amazing find to be able to tap into this. Very few brands can do that. We can also use a lot of the graphics that we do, we use them for our store windows. So there's always seasonal graphics in our stores. And also for trade shows. And it's interesting working as a licensor and working with all our different partners around the world, is that it's your job is to control the brand. And I think that's really cool no matter what company you go to in the future. As a designer, you need to understand what the brand is about, and understand the designer and what their needs are, and tapping into the brand essence. Because there's always an emotional attachment everybody has with a certain brand. And with Playboy is a sexy, fun brand, and that's the kind of the feeling that our product needs to convey. And I can show you some of the product. Besides working on product, I also work with my team on seasonal photo shoots. This is for fall, winter '06, some of our product from around the world. And our photo shoot ties back to our themes and our style guides. And again, this brings everything to life. And these imageries is for advertising and for point of purchase and for trade shows. This is not photography that's going to be shown into the Playboy magazine. This is really for our fashion licensees. And I think it's important to get a really good experience in one category, become an expert in something that you can then use those skills to sell into a bigger company. And I don't like to use the word sell out, but there's a certain time in your career, if you're not going to have your own design house, then there's a way to use those skills and translate it into working for a bigger company and making obviously more money, and can still be as rewarding. And as you can see, Playboy does everything from Playboy guitars to jewelry to jeans to T-shirts. We have a really large accessories business. And again, we update that each season with new patterns and new graphics and new detailing, as all of the brands would. Shoes. This is our store windows, actually, in the Forum shops in Las Vegas. That's actually a billboard in Taipei. Taipei. Just some additional product initiatives that Playboy has. Underwear is actually, men's underwear is a growing business for us, as is women's lingerie. Cosmetics, actually right now you can probably pick this up at Henry Bendel's in New York. And then lifestyle products. I'm gonna skip this. These are some, this is another initiative that we have for the brand, is to go even more upscale and offer cocktail dresses. Again, it makes sense because Playboy women like to go out and party. You know, they want to show off their bodies, so it should be, you know, sexy and modern. So we're actually developing a range of cocktail dresses, and right now, actually, we're selling a small collection in our Las Vegas stores. Some of those examples. And along with that, we're actually doing higher end bags as well. So some of the bags up here range from $500 to $800 US. And I had mentioned before about tapping into the Playboy archives. These are Playboy covers. So again, it's really fun. There's a lot of elements you can tap into and put on product. And these are some of our special limited edition items we did for Harvey Nichols in London. Oops. Sorry, gone the wrong way. And you can see here how, again, it's not total design here, but what it is, it's creative. And I think, you know, as future, you know, fashion designers and people who are in the creative fields, it's important to broaden your horizon and not just know how to design the product, but it's really important how to build a brand and how to support that brand and how to market it. And I think this is a good example of our marketing team, how they take our limited edition T-shirts and they do a whole program around it, selling it at our Harvey Nichols in the UK with the bunnies. I think one of the more exciting parts working with Playboy is that a lot of fashion designers love Playboy as well. They love the icon. And for our 50th anniversary, our actual business team came up with the idea to do a designer collection. We got to meet with a lot of very famous designers and develop product with them for our 50th anniversary. And here's just some examples of some of the brands that we actually worked with. And what happened was a lot of the items up here were one of a kinds, and we auctioned them off for DIFA, an AIDS charity. And Sean John Burton Dunhill. And we do additional co-branding across the globe. This is something we did for São Paulo Fashion Week last season with Raia de Goy, Brazilian designers, some Playboy really chic beachwear. And more recently, we actually opened a Playboy club and casino in Las Vegas. So again, I never thought of myself studying menswear design that I'd ever be involved in designing a club and casino. And so, you know, you never know where you're going to end up, and it's just really important to keep a really open mind and of what kind of things that you can actually use your talents for and use your skills. And this is, we actually worked with Roberto Cavalli to develop a new bunny costume for the actual clubs, and there's just some examples up there. One of the things that I like to say is about Playboy 2.0 is our next generation of Playboy. You saw the stores in the video, but one of our next generations of Playboy is taking all these brand attributes that we put on product, the fun, sexy, good life, and putting it into other sorts of entertainment, but upscale and classy. Whoops, sorry. Technology, can't rely. 1 second. We're waiting. You know, when I was actually here 10 years ago graduating, I was really scared. I didn't have a job. I was looking for a job at the time, and you know, just some advice I can give you guys is don't give up on your dreams and your passion. And if there's something you're really passionate about, knock on people's doors. Don't take no for an answer. It's really important that you just network as much as you can to meet people, because you never know who they can recommend and so forth. I must have met with like 10 different designers talking just to show my portfolio and get their feedback. And it's amazing how meeting all these different designers like Donna Karan or Michael Kors or what have you, they gave me incredible feedback that I probably wouldn't even got from my professors, because my professors are much closer to me and closer to my work and they're out in the real world, and they would actually give me some really great advice. And I had to probably redo my portfolio like 3 or 4 times, because the advice they gave me was invaluable. And within 3 or 4 months after graduating, I had a job. Not the ideal job, but I had a job. Well, let me just find this. There we go. Okay. So, I don't know if you guys were reading this, but you will definitely see in the Girls Next Door pretty soon, is that Playboy just opened its first club and casino in 25 years in Las Vegas. We did a licensing deal with the Palms Hotel and their new tower. We actually, the top 3 floors is a club, casino, and Hugh Hefner's Sky Villa, which you can rent for $40,000 a night. This is actually the Sky Villa. It's actually 2 floors. You guys are probably the first to actually see this. It hasn't even hit most of the magazines yet. It's got as you can see, it's got an outdoor pool. It's got an elevator. It's actually got a round bed on here too, which I don't know if you can see it. You can see it. The round bed is the top one right there, but it's interesting, the round bed turns around. And again, if you all know the history of Playboy, as Hugh Hefner used to have a round bed that used to turn around, and he could all his electronic gear was there. It was very James Bond. And so this was recreated for this Hugh Hefner suite. This is actually inside the casino. So I mentioned to you before about creating patterns and graphics and so forth. But what was really amazing is that the patterns and graphics that my design team created is actually they're now made for carpets. It's going to be in a video wall. It's in murals, and it's in different details throughout the club. So it's pretty cool. You can see the attention to detail and the use of the rabbit head, but it's done in a really sophisticated manner. And of course, the bunnies are back. You can see in the bathrooms, there's 25 years of centerfolds there, and mural on the walls. Here's some of our new 21st century bunnies. And Christy Hefner and Hugh Hefner, Christy's Hef's daughter, they're actually doing the first bit of the evening. I don't know if you guys know, Christy Hefner's our CEO. She actually runs Playboy. And this is actually the Moon nightclub. Actually, it's a rabbit head. It's hard to tell. It's a matter of having the floor. And actually, the rooftop opens up, and so you can see the sky at night and so forth. It's actually really cool. This is actually before it opened. And this is our Playboy store in the Palms Hotel in Las Vegas. Some of the retail stores that Playboy has been involved in and sold their product to in the past year. And actually, these are this is actually our store in Las Vegas and the Forum Shops. We've actually won numerous awards for the store design. But again, what's interesting about this is that I wasn't trained in store design. And it's really amazing to have this kind of experience and working for a company and jumping in and doing things like this 3 or 4 years later. And of course, we hire architects, so I'm not doing it alone. There's definitely a lot of input. But again, going from menswear design and then doing something like this is really, for me, it's really great. This is actually our store in Melbourne, Australia. This is our one in Hong Kong, in Causeway Bay. And that's our CEO cutting the ribbon. Okay, so now I'm just going to take you really quickly through my career path and, try to make you understand some of the choices that I made that actually worked for me, may or may not work for you. Well, actually, I actually have a business degree and actually finished that degree and actually went to work as a merchandise manager at JCPenney, which was pretty conservative at that time. And then I went to Saks as an assistant buyer there. So that was my first experience of true fashion. And that was kind of a wake-up call to me. That was in New York City. And I really thrived in that kind of environment. And I really wanted to learn more about fashion and how garments are constructed. And decided to take evening classes. And I did that at FIT. And that's where I decided that I wanted to go back to school full-time and do this career change. And so any of you guys are sitting in here who have done a career change, I think it's an awesome thing to do when you're younger. I actually had a friend of mine who before I made my career change when I was at Saks, who was turning 40, and she was always wanted to be a lawyer all her life. And she was making a lot of money, a very successful businesswoman. And she decided to give up her whole career and go back to law school. And it made me realize that I didn't want to do that when I was 40, I wanted to do that when I was younger. So that's kind of something that catalyst for me that made me realize that I love the fashion end of things. I didn't like so much the number crunching. I don't want to be a buyer, but I wanted to be part of the creative process. So I decided to go back to school full time and give up my day job, which for me was one of the best experiences that I could have ever done, because I think if you're passionate about something, no matter what it is, you're going to be successful in it. And I think that's definitely something, if anything else you take away today, that's what's important. Don't lose that passion. It's really important. So after graduating FIT, I was a designer at J. Crew. Now before that, I did a lot of internships. I did an internship at Donna Karan, at a hat company, many different types of design companies during my time at FIT. And that was invaluable because even though I didn't sit there and design for Donna Karan, I saw the designers designing, I saw kind of tools that they used, and I saw their taste level and the kind of things that they dealt with in the day-to-day. And I just, through osmosis, I understood how I needed to improve my skills. So not only did I take classes at FIT, I actually went to classes at Parsons, and I met actually some really amazing teachers who really helped me mentor and sharpen my skills to be able to get where I am today, I guess, because of that. So if there's teachers out there that you like, for me, they really inspired me, and I think these are treasures that you should always keep in touch with. And be thankful that they're there to give you that time. I remember going to spending a lot of hours with teachers after class who were really passionate about helping me, and their passion showed as well. So it just excited me. Anyway, so I worked at J. Crew for several years. I did their denim and chino and men's underwear range, and that was really amazing. I learned a lot. I worked with a lot of incredible, talented people there. And I had never I'd never really traveled, but I had never really been to, I heard a lot about Asia, never been to Asia before. And I was, thought I was getting a little older. And I had told my headhunter once that any opportunities came up that, please let me know internationally. And long story short is I get a phone call saying that this company overseas, don't tell me where, is interested in looking at my portfolio, because they saw some of my work, and I said, sure, fine. So they sent portions of my portfolio over, and then they wanted to talk to me, and so I figured it was in Europe. And long story short is it was in Hong Kong. I got the job heading up menswear division for an Asian retailer, kind of like the Gap of Asia, a company called G2000 Apparel. And it was probably a really amazing, life-changing experience for me to work in an overseas market and use some of the skills I had learned from my previous job and put it to use in Hong Kong. And I think today it's really, really important for you guys to all think globally. And if you get an opportunity to work overseas, I really, really encourage that, because I learned so much about production, about design, about the global marketplace and politics, and all those kind of different things. That while I was learning all that in J. Crew and at Saks and the Pennies, somehow I think I got my MBA in Hong Kong. You work 6 to 7 days a week there, 12 hours a day, but you get to travel throughout Asia, and you get to see a whole nother world that most of my peers probably, even to this day, haven't seen. So I think it's important that, if you're talented and you have the talents that can take you overseas, I say, go for it. You're only young once, and you should really, really jump at that. I'd probably do it again. And then after Hong Kong, I got a job offer. My time was up in Hong Kong, basically. What I realized is that Hong Kong's a great place, one of my favorite places to live in the world, but it's not going to give me a career path in the creative world. It's a business hub. So I realized I needed to get back to America and so forth. And I had numerous interviews at many different companies and a couple of job offers. And before accepting the job offers, I got a call from Headhunter to go and talk to Playboy. And I'm like, well, I've got a great portfolio, I don't think I want to go and talk to these people, because all I knew at Playboy was the magazine. And I think what is interesting to do is, you have to take risks and, go on these interviews that you don't want, because you never know where you're going to end up. So I went in this interview, and I walked into these, actually the story is, I went in this interview, and my headhunter had given me the address, and it was on 730 Fifth Avenue, and I don't know Fifth Avenue numbers out that well. So I figured it'd be in some tacky building in Midtown. And so the taxi driver was getting up pretty high in the numbers on 6th Avenue, and I'm like, well, I think you're probably too high up, let me jump out, because I assumed it'd be in the garment district somewhere, their office is. So I jump out, and I get to walk to Fifth Avenue, and the numbers keep going up, and I realize, okay, well, it's high up there. And long story short, Playboy offices are in 57th and 5th, which is the prime real estate in the world. And I was so surprised that they had that kind of location as offices. And I walked into their office on the 3rd floor, and I got to tell you, there wasn't bunnies running around and playmates and so forth. It was pretty professional, dynamic environment, and really amazing offices. And my impression of the brand immediately changed from something that was just a magazine to something that was really sophisticated and upscale. So I met with my future boss at the time, and she had been recently hired to help create a fashion brand for Playboy. Is a fashion lifestyle brand, and I was the first hire that she was going to do to create an in-house design team. And I was just enamored by my interview lasted an hour and a half, and we just clicked, and I loved her vision. And I think whenever you find bosses, no matter where it could be Walmart, Kmart, Target, Playboy, wherever it is, and they have vision and they have passion, and they get it. They know what needs to be done. That's a pretty good sign that the job could possibly work. So I actually took a really major career risk, and nearly 8 years later, I'm still at Playboy doing different things. Our business has grown so much. When I first joined Playboy, we had about 10 licensees, and most of them in Asia. Today, we have over 160 licensees, and our business is probably well over 800 million at retail. and from 100 million when I joined. So the business has grown a lot, but also I think the lesson to learn here is I took a risk. And all you guys, you're so young, you're all starting, most of you are starting out. Take that risk, meet with the people you don't want to meet with. Go on the interviews you don't want to go in. Because you just never know what opportunities lie for you. You may click. It took me 10 years to get a good boss. So if you get interviews and they have you click with this person who you want to be your boss, and then doesn't matter what company it is, go for it. There's so many rules nowadays that just don't apply. If you look at all these brands like Isa Mizrahi or these other brands that are buying, taking diffusion lines from these designers, there's a lot of different things happening in the market. There's no set rules anymore. So you can go from mass to high end. If you're talented, you can do different things. You make a name for yourself, you can do different things. And so I think just really, broaden your scope. Get that opportunity. The more experience you have, the more valuable you are. And it doesn't mean that you're going to do couture. If that's what you want, then that's what you should go for. But just keep an open mind, because there's a lot of different creative jobs out there that need people who have a good fashion sense, and they're not all in the high-end fashion brands. I think global. Global. Having that kind of global experience is really, really important. Travel. If you don't have a job that allows you to travel, then travel when you have a vacation. Instead of going out and buying a $500 Dior bag, use that money to go and buy a ticket to Europe or where have you. See the world, or really open your eyes and ears up to whole other just like cultures out there. I think you all have to have a reality check that it's about business first. Second is art. If you make money, they'll let you do what you want to do. And I think that's sometimes you have to just realize that, you may not be designing the kind of dresses you really want to design, but if I can make this company a lot of money, then maybe they will one day, because they'll trust me. So that's really important. I mentioned before passion. When I'm looking to hire new people, besides they have to have great taste level and things like that, I think passion is really important. To have that passion in your interviews and show it genuinely. I think it can really come across, and people are really enthralled about that, because passion means high productivity. It means you have that energy to do a lot of work and work late, but you also have that passion to create great product. I know I have designers that work for me, and I'll ask them to do certain things, and I love how they always come back with doing things better than I imagined, and I think that's what's really important. And then believe in yourself. I said in the beginning, perseverance. Don't give up. If somebody tells you you're not any good at something, don't believe them. If you feel you're good at it, just go with your gut instinct. I've been told things in the past, and maybe starting my career, that I won't be any good at this, or won't be good at that, and I've proved people wrong. So I really, really believe in yourself, even when people are telling you that you aren't good. Just really, that's really important. What else I have here? And that's about it. Is there anyone, before we jump into the answers, anyone got any questions or anything? I'm sorry, who is it? Oh, sorry. Looking up, you're down there. I'm getting blind already. What, sorry? Good question. How long do I want to stay at Playboy before I move on to something else? I kind of ask myself that quite often. Most jobs before I started at Playboy, I left every 2 years, pretty much on the dot. 2 years, I was on to something next. You guys are a lot of you guys are starting out in new careers. Unless you've got a really amazing boss and they're giving you good raises and you're getting great opportunity to move up the ladder, and that's what you want. For me, I didn't want to be a couture designer. I had no illusions. I wanted to be creative. I wanted to help create brands, and I wanted to make money. and so that was important. That was important to me. And when I realized I wanted to make money, it was only in Hong Kong when I realized it. It took me a few years to figure that out because I was getting to a certain age where my friends who weren't in fashion were making a lot of money, and it didn't hit me until I was in Hong Kong and actually was actually making money. The reason why I wanted to make money. So I didn't want to be a starving artist. So to go back to answer your question is that, Playboy's taking good care of me. I've kind of given them a lot of my heart and soul as well, and put in a lot of long hours. But I'm passionate about the brand, and we're always working on new things like the casino and the stores. So I guess until I get bored, I'm not going to go anywhere yet. And so I'm not sure. I have no game plan anymore. I used to have a game plan, but now I've been at Playboy 8 years. It's a good gig. It's still fun. Yeah, and I think if your job's fun, I have an awesome boss. I said earlier, it took me 10 years to get a good boss. That's a long time. And a boss that can mentor you is really important. I've had some crazy bosses, and some of the worst bosses are also some of the best bosses because they make you realize what you don't want to end up like yourself, like them, but also it makes you realize that this is not the right opportunity for me to shine, and so you move on. So there's no game plan yet. Any more questions? Yes. The co-branding from Hire the Guy, how was that different from licensing? Well, sometimes in licensing, we also want to do things that create a buzz and create a cool factor for the brand. So when we're entering new territories, for example, Hire the Guy, we had not really entered the Brazilian market, and we decided we wanted to participate in São Paulo Fashion Week to showcase Playboy is more than a media company, it's more than a magazine, it's also a fashion and lifestyle brand. So we actually decided to partner with Hire the Guy, not from a financial reason, but more from a mutual thing that we could work with them and help sponsor part of their show. At the same time, they would develop product to kind of showcase the Playboy fashion attributes. And so that's something that we will do probably every few years with certain designers. Kind of mutually helps each other. Any more questions? No more questions? Okay, so we're gonna do a quick answer. This is the easy one. What best describes the Playboy brand attributes? The answer is all the above. So let's see who got that right. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know how to. Yonghan Wu? Did I pronounce that right? I did. Did I pronounce it right? Okay, come on up. You're the first contestant and the price is right. You want to, okay. You got to come down. You got to just jump over the chairs and come down. Okay. Okay. Okay, what category is Playboy not licensed? The answer is paints. So actually, we did do some stamps for our 50th anniversary. There you go.
Thank you.
Cecilia Usman. Oh, okay. Okay, the answer here is 75%. So actually, a core of our business is women's, and Playboy is actually really geared towards being a men's brand. But so again, it's amazing how you can go into a men's company and yet create this women's business. See? Anybody get this one right? Anyone get this one? Okay, can we do it? Okay. Okay, I'm going to try this name too. Bekai Barani? Did I not get that right? Okay. Bhichai? Okay, okay. How do you pronounce, say that? Bishai, okay. Okay, girls next door. You guys, some of you watch it, so it's Kendra, Bridget, and Holly. Caroline Birdie. Is Caroline in the house? Okay, the Playboy, most recent Playboy store was actually Las Vegas. Did anyone get this one right? It's the easy one. Okay, Jenny Bennett. Did I get that wrong? Oh, okay. And where did Playboy open its first club and casino in over 25 years? That should be an easy one. Las Vegas. Okay, I'm going to pronounce this probably wrong. Xin Yi? Yes, okay. That's it. Something that, that we think about every day is live the life you love the life you live. It's very Playboy. All right, thank you.